Kevin Costner was so mad at you. He watches.
Big
Good morning, Kev.
Big sunrise here. Good morning to you, Mr. Costner. Good morning to everybody else out there. I'm Jason Hackett alongside Alicia Lewis. It is primary day here.
It is a busy day ahead. Of course, we have team coverage on everything you need to know before you head to the polls. Before we get to everybody, though, let's get out to Ben in the backyard. Not a bad day for primary day.
No, and I don't think weather is going to be an impact on your polling place. We are tracking some spotty showers across southeastern Minnesota, but from the Twin Cities northward, it looks like a dry start to the day. However, some growing thunderstorms in and around Albert Lea in the I-90 corridor. You can see those thunderstorms that blossomed over the last hour or two. Spotty showers from Faribault eastward towards just north of Rochester, maybe Zumbro Falls, places like that, seeing some shower activity. But for the rest of us, we're going to dry out. A cooling forecast is expected later this week. Today and tomorrow in the mid-80s. That'll be followed up by 70s as we wrap up the week, and that'll bring our best chance for rain in the forecast. That's Friday night into Saturday. Doesn't look like washout material, but widespread scattered showers in the forecast as we head into the upcoming first half of the weekend, we'll say. Here's a look at your next 12 hours. Some cloudiness to start off the day before turning sunny later this afternoon. Mid-80s today. We'll talk more about that rain chance later this week coming up. But first, a quick look at the roads with Cece. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's go over to Minneapolis. This crash just popped up on 35W southbound right near Washington Avenue, right at this ramp. You see MnDOT is on scene telling vehicles to stay right as they clear up the situation. Would I change my route in this area? No, I wouldn't, but I would add a few extra minutes and then make sure I stay right and go a little slower, use caution in that area. I'll let you know when that clears, but that's really the only thing I'm seeing out there. Everywhere else is green right now. When I see you next, just after 6:15, we're going to go over to Highway 61. There is an overnight closure in that area right near Highway 36. If you'll be out between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., I'll let you know some detours.
All right, Cece, we'll check back then. Thanks so much. Well, hey, it is primary day here in Minnesota. Today, you get your say on who's on November's ballot in a lot of key races.
We have team coverage with everything you need to know as we count down to polls opening. Megan McPherson is tracking the races, getting the most attention. We're going to start, though, with Audrey Russo live at a polling center in St. Paul. Good morning, Audrey.
Good morning. Yeah, we're inside this polling location here in St. Paul. In about 1 hour's time, it's going to be open for business, as will all of the polling locations here in Minnesota. So voting runs from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. tonight. If you are in line to vote by 8 p.m., even if you're not right at one of those machines behind me, if you're at least in line by 8 p.m., you're going to be allowed to cast your ballot. Now, if you applied for a mail-in ballot and it's been sitting on your countertop, you haven't had a chance to mail it yet, you're going to be able to drop that ballot off at the election office that sent it to you. You cannot bring that ballot, though, to any old polling location. They're not really equipped to handle that. You have to bring it to your local election office. But speaking of polling places, you can look up your in-person polling place on the Secretary of State's website. That's where you can also see who is going to be on your ballot. The Secretary of State's office says it's already counted more than 206,000 ballots from early voting alone. Take a listen.
That is the highest number of early votes for a primary election in a non-presidential election year in Minnesota.
Yeah, already setting records here this primary election season. Now, if you live in Minneapolis, Brooklyn Center, or Brooklyn Park, you may notice some additional folks outside of your polling location today. There's a reason for that. I've got more information coming up in 30 minutes, but for now, I'll send things back to you.
All right, Audrey, we'll see you in 30 minutes. Thanks so much.
And as we mentioned, a lot is at stake with this year's primary and upcoming general election in November.
That's right, Megan McPherson's joining us with a look at the biggest races we're watching today. Good morning, Megan.
Hey, good morning. So tonight's U.S. Senate primary is one of the biggest races on the ballot, with both parties choosing their nominees for the seat left vacant by retiring Senator Tina Smith. So on the DFL side, it's a battle between Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan and Congresswoman Angie Craig. Flanagan has the party's endorsement and is running as a progressive, backing policies like Medicaid for all, or Medicare for all rather, and universal child care. Craig calls herself a pragmatic progressive and argues she's more electable while significantly outraising Flanagan. The race has also drawn millions in outside spending. But Craig has faced criticism over her vote for one of President Trump's immigration bills, which she says she now regrets. And Flanagan, meanwhile, has faced questions over Minnesota's response to frauds. We'll be watching that closely. On the Republican side, former sportscaster Michelle Tafoya has led in the polls and has the backing of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, despite losing the party endorsement to former Navy SEAL Adam Schwarzy. the centerpieces of her campaign, stopping fraud and increasing funding for law enforcement. Schwarze also has endorsements from powerful groups like the National Rifle Association and Minnesota Citizens Concern for Life. He says he largely backs President Trump's policies, but wants to return power to the people if elected. And Royce White, the GOP's 2024 Senate nominee, is also back running on an anti-establishment platform. And another primary we're watching closely is the Hennepin County Attorney's race. There are 5 candidates vying to replace incumbent Mary Moriarty, who is not seeking a second term. This is a nonpartisan race, which means that the top 2 candidates will advance to November's general election. Back to you.
Megan, thank you. And remember, if you have any questions about a race or candidate, we do have a full voter's guide to help you out. You can find it right now at KARE11.com/vote. And tune in on the KARE 11 app. Our live streaming coverage starts as soon as polls close at 8 p.m. Then we're going to be back on air at 10 o'clock for live results and political analysis throughout the night.
Time now 6:07 to your other headlines this morning. We are live in New York City, where this morning Luigi Mangione is set to make his last court appearance before jury selection begins next month in his state trial. Mangione is accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Experts say today is the last chance for prosecutors and defense attorneys to finalize details before the high-profile trial. Mangione has pleaded not guilty in both his state and federal cases. His federal trial is slated to start in January.
We're learning new details about the hours-long standoff in Isanti last week. The man accused of shooting at officers now facing 32 felony counts, including 14 counts of attempted first-degree murder and first-degree assault of a peace officer. According to court documents, neighbors called police saying that Jason Phillips was throwing paint and glass jars into the street. Documents then say he fired at officers after going inside. Phillips' wife and 5 children were also inside during the standoff, according to court documents. In court, a county official said this is one of the biggest issues of public safety the community has seen recently, possibly ever.
Developing right now, the city of West St. Paul is working to take down all of its flock cameras after the city manager said they're suspending their contract with the company. Our KARE 11 crews found 2 locations along Annapolis Street where the cameras have already been removed. The plan here is to remove the rest within a week. The city manager says the police department used the tool correctly, but it's not worth using if public trust is not there. He says any future plan to put the cameras back up would be up to city council.